In this picture that was obviously taken a few years ago is me and my sister. I am 13 and she's 20. We don't have very similar schedules and we don't get to hang out a lot for a lot of different reasons. We both love art, but this is something that we won't get to talk about for a couple of years because, like I said, our schedules. We didn't get along a lot when we were younger, and I would attribute this to the different times in our lives and our age differences. We just had different problems and different situations we were dealing with at the time. But sometimes when she had her friends over, we'd get to hang out and play games together, and this was some of the best things that we got to do together. It started with my sister's Game Boy when I was little. This would be passed between me, my sister, and even my parents, and this was a great thing for bonding between us, where we would do struggles and achievements and talk about it together, and it would influence the way that I would love to make friends in my future for a very long time. I made a lot of friends on the internet. I mean like a different friend every day, basically. But a lot of these people were people very far away that I would honestly probably never see in person at all for however knows how long. So a lot of my time was spent alone, just like this, and unmoderated. It was very separating and lonely, and I often reached out to many people on the internet for this reason and had very interesting experiences with a lot of different people. And a lot of these people were men. In school, I preferred boys because of the stereotypical interests of outdoor activities and games. But online, it was a lot more dangerous for me to assume that these men were like the boys in school because we just didn't share the same situation or even really the same ages most of the time. So a dangerous situation is what happened to me. I had someone who I trusted and was very important to me for 3 years of my life. My parents didn't know that I had an online boyfriend, and it honestly created a very huge and deep-rooted trust gap between me and my parents when they eventually found out my secret. It resolved the best way it could at the time, but it really made me question how I'm spending my time on the internet and how the things I share and the things I do really affect me when I could be choosing to spend my time in other areas of my life or other hobbies. I eventually made some friends in middle school, and we would talk on Skype almost every day after classes. It was very different because we had this sort of concrete trust that only happened because we got to see each other every now and again in school. And it was just very different than people that were in different countries or even sometimes different states. I didn't do a lot of things that regular teenagers did. I didn't need to sneak out because games were just there and the internet was just there. Not even shopping, because the games were our activity for the night and we weren't going to go out because we didn't have a car or anything. We were just kids. But sometimes there was bad things, like a friend I had for almost 2 years who only lived 30 minutes away from me, but would never make that drive to even my house, and much less my birthday party, even when I would beg just to have that in-person connection and the trust that people online couldn't give me. But it wasn't all bad though, and sometimes I had some of the best experiences of my life online. I can vividly remember a time where it was New Year's and my friends were comforting and we made each other laugh, and it was just an amazing time in my life. But one of the best parts about playing online as well was the games, because we could just do things that you could not do in person. We could live out these fantastical worlds, achieve and succeed, just like I did when I was little with my sister, with people and bond over those same things that I also loved and they loved as well. And one of the most addicting parts about meeting people online was learning about different worlds that I could never be a part of myself, such as the deaf community or the disabled community, or even just people older than me. And sometimes I got a lot of information that was good and prepared me, but sometimes it was hurtful. But overall, it was just a learning experience. At 17 years old, my middle school friend group actually ended up meeting up with 2 of our friends that we had never met before in person online. And it was very bittersweet. We got to meet in person, but eventually we had to go back home and return to our online way of activities. I'm 19 now, and I'm doing a lot of things that I heard about even when I was 14 years old. I have a lot more freedom and independence, and I've learned better to balance this hobby of mine and also my friends and my family life with how I live. The main thing that the internet had taught me was the importance of family. I have so much freedom with my car that now I learned that I can really choose how I spend my time wisely with things that are more precious to me, such as my family and my sister, and as well as my friends that even live a little bit far away from me now. Through the pandemic, I've been supported throughout all of my obstacles. And I've used this opportunity I got at UNCA, which is closer to my sister's house, to visit her as often as possible so I can hang out in person and have that trust that is so needed to have a great bond with somebody. It's been hard to meet people and strangers and even students in the recent conditions, but I've learned it's extremely important to reach out to people that you're near and the communities we live in, because we have such an immediate and strong and powerful influence on those types of communities. Today, me and my sister have a pretty great relationship, and we still use the internet to facilitate our social interactions. I use the internet to my advantage to support and comfort the ones I love, and I hope you guys can too. Thank you.